How's everyone doing? Back. Closer mic. Try new shit, alright? So, identity politics round 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, shit got kind of cray-cray when I saw this video. This kid identifying as a cat got his substitute teacher fired. Now, look, I wasn't in the event. I wasn't even there. I don't necessarily know the kid's context for identifying as a cat. I just heard the substitute's teacher's story and kind of connected the dots with what has been happening year after year after year with the whole identity politics. So I will roll a B footage of this, and when I say B footage, just an inserted footage of her story, just to put the context without the big context, because I wasn't there. And then we talk about it, all right? So let me use that famous line. Roll that footage.
Okay, I've got to rant for a minute. Just when I thought school couldn't get any weirder, it did today. I'm a sub, and the most important thing we do is take rolls so the school gets paid. So I'm looking at the seating chart as I'm going up and down the rows and marking who's here and who's not. I get to the third row and I hear this meow. Excuse me? Excuse me? I start looking on the ground. Go to the fourth row, everything's good. Go to the fifth row, everybody's there. Then I hear meow. I'm like, okay, what's up with that? Who's doing it? And this little girl in the very front row says, you have to meow back at him. He identifies as a cat. Are you kidding me? I said, is there a litter box in here somewhere? My sarcasm self probably shouldn't have said that. He gets up and he storms out of the classroom. And I'm like, rough. And of course, the entire class is laughing. And I think, no problem, no foul. I go to the office, you ready for this? To check out. They said, we no longer need your services if you can't identify with all the children in the classroom. And you wonder why they don't have any subs. I told the lady, I said, I didn't know cats were considered people. I thought they were pets. Another school off my list.
Okay. Back in, this is with really cheap video editing. I call it cheap. I don't necessarily have my old tools. Still, you heard the experience, right? That's kind of cray-cray. No, it's not cray-cray because it is the momentum that led to that. And this is where I want to bring balance. I don't necessarily want to chastise anyone aside from the school system. And you'll see why. There's been identity politics at the university and college level. You know, the whole, you got to identify me as this pronoun or as that pronoun or as this pronoun. And it seems to have reached the point. Maybe the kid was joking. But the fact that you hear that the kid just went off to the principal's office and that the substitute teacher was fired tells another, I don't know, layer to this story. So it seems to have went from college level all the way to that level, to this whole, and look, we're going to have to set some things clear, and this is where we start entering a level of complexity. You kids or adults identifying as animals, okay? This is not to chastise you, this is not to criticize you, but this is to understand a level of complexity of existence that will make your life much easier, okay? So please sit down and pay attention. You can even pause the video whenever there's something that just doesn't necessarily connect. You can even send a message, okay? Because I am here to help balance, okay? So regarding the kid identifying as a cat, that is an impossibility. What I'm saying, what I mean by this is now we're diving into a complex subject of different densities. You didn't think you'd learn spirituality, but you're kind of speeding up your process with these events and these identities, okay? And I want to bring spirituality because it's nothing to fuck with. Oh, bad word. You'll learn about it. Don't worry. Just don't repeat it, please. Your parents are going to be mad for no reason, and we can dive into another subject about this. But you do not mess and take it for granted, okay? there is something to it that can be explained logically and scientifically, okay? So now, the cat thing, identifying as a cat, is an impossibility, even spiritually, because animals and pets are second density beings, meaning they are no self-aware. They are living, they are living, they are conscious, but they cannot be self-conscious. Okay? Us human, we are third density. Okay? So first density, rocks, objects. Okay? That's another subject I'll bring later on. But rocks, objects, bed, that's first density because it's a solid object. It still has vibration. And then higher than that, atoms. Okay? Second densities are animals, which are living. That includes insects. Okay? Any kind of animal, nature creature. Okay? That includes your pets. Second density because they are, when they're solid, two, they are conscious, they are living, they are moving, but they cannot be self-aware. They cannot learn a language and formulate concepts, ideas. To make it more basic, they'll never know about Santa Claus. They'll never know about fried pudding. They cannot identify it with words and then see what's the difference between this pudding and that other pudding. Okay? That is a big thing to understand, okay? Animals will never get to that point. Never say never, but that would be too much of a long and complex topic. You're not ready for this, okay? Stick to this right now. But they will never really get to that subject and level, okay? And when we talk about self-conscious, us as human, you are understanding these words. You are seeing imagery and ideas and logics from these words. Animals do not. They cannot be aware of what and who they are. Do you understand that? This is very critical. Because if you're going to identify as a cat or any second density being, then school, why are you in school? You would not have the concept to go to this place to learn. Okay? This is crucial to understand, okay? Because if you're going to regress density, then you're off being Mowgli in the wild. And not the Jungle Book version. I'm talking about raw, some kids that were abandoned in the wild. There are stories like that, and there's not a lot of understanding of what happens to them, but it does exist. Yet, no more iPad, no more video game, no more Santa Claus. No more eating cooked food. This is second density. It has happened that certain humans from third density regressed back to second density because of circumstance. They are not bad. There's no good, bad, right, wrong. But this is the situation that happens to them. Okay? So you can regress to that, but then you don't go in school, you don't interact with people, you don't even eat good food, well-prepared food. You're basically your mom's pet at that point. Or your dad's pet, or your brother's pet, if he's still in third density, okay? Third density is great when society doesn't mess with it. What I mean by that is the fact that you are able to get to the point of being self-conscious means that you are able to be aware of what you feel, what things make you feel, what you love, what is playful, what is fun, who you prefer to interact with, how you grow your mind. At times, not necessarily with school, but that's another discussion. But how you grow your mind, how you grow your knowledge, okay? Which makes things so much more fun. Because it's like, ooh, you're learning more, you're discovering more, you're creating more. You get to create. Animals don't get to create, you know? So it is crucial to understand that before you try to take an identity as an eagle, as a cat, as a dog, because that's regressing and you are cutting yourself off from your true potential, your amazing potential. Seriously, man, there's some cool stuff that you'll never really learn in school because the school board blocks it out. But hey, you've got internet. You've got more power than the Pharaoh on your pocket at home. What are you doing? You're going on TikTok. You're wasting time. And then, of course, to feel better, you got to go be a cat. Don't worry. It's society that kind of messed with things. It's not your fault, okay? And this is what I kind of want to hammer on. When it comes to the school programming of this identity politics, look at what it has done. The grief and the illogical nature of these things has reached a peak. Now, I'm going to tackle that on, like right here, right now, because this is something that needs to be put in place. Whoever is still fighting for identity politics, you have been suckered into insanity because you have been led to forgetting we are around 8 billions. We're coming up to 8 billion on this earth, okay? So if you are going to demand someone else to need to identify you, something that's in your head, your identity, your concept is in your head, okay? If you need 8 billion people to identify you for you to feel good, you will go insane. Because we can't read minds. We're not at that density. I told you, man, this is a tad bit far. But you do not mess and let go of spirituality. You start investigating to understand that. So if you're going to demand people to be at a state where they can read your mind and know your identity to then call you by the exact pronoun at all the time, you're expecting 8 billion people to do that, you will turn insane. Because you're constantly going to feel bad. You're constantly going to react and be like, hey, that's not my pronoun. Hey, identify as this. You're the one reacting for demanding other people to get this, to read your mind. You're doing exactly what some of our parents did to us. We didn't see it coming. So, in a sense, sorry. In another sense, didn't know what we didn't know. But didn't really want you to go insane. Because that's what it is. If I was to criticize anyone over identifying me as, I don't know, Rasta just because of dreads. Hey, hippies have dreads. Anybody's has got dreads. Singers have dreads. Movie stars have dreads. Africans have dreads. What, you think I'm African now? No! Like, if I were to get mad at this, at each and every person, I would go insane. I cannot demand people to know exactly how I prefer to be named. I can only transcend and understand that, oh, okay, well, what if everyone else was acting onto me that same way? That would suck. I don't know who's identified as a wolf or as a beluga or as an alien from some kind of the different star system. I don't know. It's not in your face. It's not like a hashtag or a cod bar in front of your face. It's like, and I ain't psychic. I dive into quantum physics, but psychic level is something else. Okay? And that'd be creepy. I'd be like, hey, I saw what you wrote in your journal last night. Ugh. 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 Ew! It'd be creepy, you know? Like, freaky. So I can't demand it, and knowing that, because if I demand it, then I would expect to have the same treatment. What if the whole world was asking and treating you the same way? Insanity! Hey, our government is demanding you to call him a rhino. You didn't call me a rhino! You're going to jail! Ah! You kind of want to have fun and play with this, okay? But understand the logic behind it and the feeling behind it too. Hey, you're going up to a store, you then identify this alien from underground levels of Atlantis. No pudding for you. I'm offended. I will tweet about it and get a whole mob against you. Or you didn't properly identify your teacher as a woman of this certain age with this specific experience, with this specific preferences. Detention! Power trip. That's what tends to happen. Now, unfortunately, again, as I say, this is not to criticize and this is not to put fault. This is just to lay it on the table and have you understand this. But when it comes to the school system that perpetuated this and that caused all these mental illnesses when it comes to people feeling anxiety and depression over this, over being overly identified in boxes and labels without consciously realizing that there are no labels. You are ever expanding, ever changing. You will always find a new preferences. It kind of goes a bit with the gender fluid thing, but not needing people to know, to feel, for one person to feel good. It's kind of like understanding you have your own preference, you have your own moves, you have your own things that you like. So enjoy them yourself. And if you connect with people that do too, then do so. It's really good. Yet, if you're going to demand, again, coming up to 8 billion, have you realized how many people that is? Like, you go into the bus, 20, 30, 40? Okay, you go into your school, 100, 200? You haven't even gotten to realizing what 1,000 is. Consciously feeling it. Go to convention. Reaching 1,000, maybe up to 10,000. Have you ever been in a stadium with 100,000? Have you ever been in a stadium with 1 million? Can you consciously feel the amount of people, the amount of thoughts that are going on at the same time? Or are you still on your cell phone and video games and getting distracted from that? Can't be like that. If you're a cat, you shouldn't even care. You shouldn't even care if a person identifies you with one name or another. Most cats, they don't necessarily even remember names or specific pronunciation. They just remember sound. And there's energy, but that's something else. You're not ready for that. You're still stuck in a big label box. And those institutions that started this, you need to be held accountable. All the depression that those people are getting, whether they be kids or college students. Okay? You need to be held accountable. Understand that you didn't know that you didn't know, and that you're learning every day, but still take accountability and help them out. Okay? Because this is getting literally into insanity. Oh, I demand 8 billion people to know this. And I can't even count up to 8 billion. I can't even consciously realize how many people are on this earth and what I'm demanding from anyone else. And I'm not even realizing I wouldn't want to live in a world that would demand that from me. So you guys started this. Take accountability. Same goes for the media. You guys need to take accountability for what you have done. The repetition of that information, forcing people to abide by that for grades, for the idea of their future. The pressure, the stress, that's brainwashing. And I get really passionate about this because I had a kind of brainwashing when I had my own indoctrination in school. But it wasn't to that level. And thank God I dodged the bullet of identity politics, even when it comes to race. I'm really fortunate and lucky. And I got involved and interested in psychology later on because of all the inner blockages that these institutions and media have placed onto me and my friends. So I'm lucky, but you guys take accountability. And please, this ain't just a job. You're affecting people's lives and thinking method, which then affects their future, how they're going to interact with other people, how they're going to feel on a day-to-day basis. With great power comes great responsibilities, as well as accountability in that case. So, look, you didn't know what you didn't know, but it's time to step up. If you're going to start messing with the next generation in the future, then I'm glad that parents are taking kids out of school. Because there's a lot of psychological damage that is being done. A lot of psychological programming that is being done. They don't get to feel like kids anymore. They don't get to play like they used to play. This whole identity politics have kind of messed with things, with people's psyche, demanding other people to be, to read their mind. And it's insanity. So accountability needs to be taken from school system and the media. And don't try to be sneaky with your little animation movies and go, oh yeah, this is a stereotype. Yeah, we're going to try to feed that to you. No, this doesn't work anymore. It doesn't make sense. So to that kid that's identified as a cat, I feel for you. I really do. I had a different kind of programming, but I understand the base of it. I understand the aspect of identity politics, how it can even start bullying, how I can start depression, how I can start anxiety when the box is being moved all over the place, okay? And when you are taught to demand that from other people or else feel bad. But you don't need to. You can move out of it, be yourself, have fun, play with things, just don't demand it. Or else you're doing it to yourself, and that's what people never tell you. You're the one with the thought. You're the one who says, this is like that. Oh yeah, but I took it from someone else. No. You copied it from someone else, but you're still doing it. And you're doing it to yourself. And again, I wish happiness. I wish playfulness. I wish, just being yourself, creating, having fun. Okay? And if you want to identify as something, hybrid cat, humanoid cat, whatever, okay? But don't demand it from teachers. Don't demand it from everyone else. You can still meow, have fun, but you'll still be able to talk and identify as yourself. You can play with this. But if you remain strict, dictatorship, it's not going to work. You're going to make yourself feel nasty. You're going to make yourself feel bad. You're going to make other people feel bad. And you're going to make other people lose their job, their livelihood. Other people that have passion, that want to teach, that want to help, that want to give you knowledge. You're going to make them lose their job. Because you're not feeling well because your own mind is expecting people to read your mind. That doesn't work. Now, there's been a Quebec parody of this, of a high school, I think it's high school or maybe still elementary school kid that started saying, well, you don't know what the chair's identity is. The chair can choose. And then the teacher makes a bit of a freak out. It's comical, but at the same time, again, the same institution that made that mentality, parodying it, is not taking accountability. That's one. Two, that is a clear example. When you do not know spiritual logic, that you are diving into an insanity, because that is a person projecting their own consciousness, their own self-awareness on an object that is first density, that is just an object. atoms, vibration, that cannot think. Okay? It does not work. Yes, there is a spiritual practice that can, kind of like how certain people would play with dolls and toys and then gave them names and all of that. There's a spiritual practice. There's even a psychological, scientific practice to help people in that regard. But that's a whole different topic. And then guess what? You don't force other people to abide by your projected consciousness. Okay? You don't demand people to know what your favorite toy's name and drinking like type of juice box, what favorite drinking juice it likes. You don't demand that because they won't know. Nobody will know. Okay? You don't. But we've reached to this point because of this system that did not take accountability for their lack of logic in both the scientific aspect and spiritual aspect. And now people are getting actual consequences, actual mental consequences, depression, anxiety, ostracization. Okay? So, school didn't even bring the baby step of telling people, hey, you're not born with these words and these thoughts, so there's no point in considering someone else different from you. You're all born clear. And then depending on your parents and then what you watch on television, you will then have different terms, terminologies, words, preferences, and all that. But you're never supposed to demand the same stuff from everyone. That's called bullying. Now it's kind of funny that this instance was reverse bullying. The kid was literally bullying the teacher. Whoa. Kind of funky. But no more. No more bullying. If you're going to do it, then it's going to come back to you. And that life is, it's not really that good. You want to, and besides, okay, I'm not going to go too far on this topic. I might even insert the parody or put a link in the description because it's kind of funny. Good intention, misplaced because they're still not taking accountability. As for the substitute teacher, look, as you said, and I love the way that you took it in stride and just went, well, one place off the check mark, and then you go to another. That's how you got to take this attitude. And also understand the deeper levels of psychology. If you can, you've got a phone. Just like I told that kid, more power than the Pharaoh. So we have the tools, we have the resources. More people are talking about their feelings and experiences. It's all about connecting with all those information and then connecting the dots to see what works and what is literally trying to impose oneself on someone else. So you'll figure it out. You've got that energy, or you feel like you've got that energy. So don't worry. And when it comes to school board, shit's gonna change because that programming stuff is about to be cut. No more anxiety crisis. No more indoctrination. That stuff ends. Now, if you want to learn a tad bit more about spirituality, I'm trying to put it in the most basic but at times rough wording. Yet, hey, if a word is going to offend you, please. You want to get to transcending what's called fourth density? You're going to have to transcend words and concept. That doesn't mean to let them go or to completely detach. There's a balance. And that's what I bring onto this channel and my other channels on TikTok and other places, okay? So I'm offering this as another grain of salt in a sea of information. Do not take it as an absolute. Do your own experiments. Do your own researches. Ask yourself your own question. Take that time off that phone and ask yourself question, how do I feel about this? How do I feel about this identity? How would I feel if everyone in the world were as demanding as I am, if you're still demanding? Or if everyone in the world was acting the same way as me? Okay, that includes government. Would it freak you out? Change internally. You got this. Okay? It's an inevitability. You got this. I'm bringing this in a joking but very direct way. Not judging, okay? Doing my best to clean my language from what I've been indoctrinated with in the aspect of judgment. All the TV judgment and the movie character judgment, I'm clearing myself from that, okay? That's why you see me kind of going back and forth. Infinity symbol type of deal. Because it's like, I know we don't know what we don't know, okay? I wasn't even in the context, and for all I know, I might be spending 30 minutes jabbering about a context that wasn't properly explained. But having seen the momentum of identity politics, I'm not too surprised that this would happen. And I'm here to help. I know the pain that's been done when you don't get to really kind of feel who you want to be, and when you are programmed to demand that from everyone else. And I've seen people around me that were acting that towards me as well. When I used to be like that. When I used to be around people like that too. And it's like, it's just doing it to themselves. You got the potential, you got an amazing power, and you do not necessarily want to regress to second density or even first density. You don't want to identify yourself as a chair, because then you don't speak, and then you don't go to school. You don't even eat. Oh shit, wow, you're gonna have a very tricky life, so don't do it, please. It's time we learn a bit more about spirituality from a logical, scientific point of view, okay? And then you can balance this. And the same goes for the he, she, they, them, z's, all of that. Please, you have both energies, and you cannot demand people to read your mind about your preferences. So you will make your life much easier if you acknowledge your own preference and have fun with it, and then just accept. No, give that compassion. Because again, what if the whole world was demanding that from you? Just make that meditation every night. Ask yourself to have a dream about that, or possibly a nightmare, and to experience that. And after a couple of times, you're gonna go, oh my, okay, yeah, wow, I'm gonna stop that. And it's natural. You did not consciously choose. Conscious choice is knowing what would happen if I do this? What would happen if someone else would do this to me? What would happen 5 to 10 years if I continue doing that? That's full conscious choice. We're not taught that. In school is you give me the right answer and then you get the grade, or else you're a failure. And this will demand a reform, and this will demand accountability. Okay? You all got this. We're all in this together. We're all here to support each other. Okay? And if 30 minutes was too long for you, you're going to have to train that, because you're missing out on your maximum potential of the cool stuff that you can do when you invest more than 5 minutes into something and understanding yourself as a being. I'm not going to go further with that. This is, whoever wants to understand this completely, put a comment in the description. Thank you for all the support. We're all in this together. Have patience, compassion, and ask yourself, how would you want someone else to bring that to you and to have you logically understand this? Then you're going to find what kind of really, really works for you, all right? Kick some asses, all of you, all right? You got this. We just got prior programming and prior training that wasn't complete. And now we're all helping each other getting out of that. We all have our traumas. We're all helping each other get out of this. So this is unity. Inevitable, all right? Have a good one, guys.